to get a chance to hear from today, thank you, is one of the co-founders of ACN that took time out of, his busy schedule to be with us here today. And, for those of you that are brand new, this is going to be an opportunity to meet one of the co-founders of ACN. So it's not every day that we have access to Mr. Tony Kupas. We're very, very privileged to have him on to today's call. But we do want to make sure that you do send out any last minute text messages. We know that, if people can plug in just for a handful of minutes, what they're going to learn here today is going to really allow for them to have a lot of success moving forward and closing out the month of October, but more importantly, positioning them for a big 2022 based on what you're going to be hearing from the co-founder here today. And so if you're just joining us, a couple things that I want you to know: if you didn't get a text message about today's call, or if you didn't get an email about today's call, that just means you haven't registered at our team website. And so our team website is wealthinstituteinc.com, wealthinstituteinc.com. So here's our team website. I just want to make sure that, as you build your organization, if you go to this website right here at the bottom, this is how you sign up for text messages and emails. So you never miss a call. You're never left out. Your team isn't left out. You don't have to rely on somebody else to make sure that you are on calls like today. So this is why today's call is so important, to make sure your team knows exactly what they should be doing, getting the information from the source and not having to rely on anybody else when it comes to this information. So again, that's wealthinstituteinc.com. Right here's the website. Drop down at the bottom, and here's how you sign up for our text messages. Here's how you sign up for our emails, so you're never left out when it comes to very important calls like the one that we're going to share with you here today. And so I want to thank you guys again for making time. I want to turn it over to an individual that really needs no introduction, especially within the ACN world. I mean, here's a gentleman that, 28 years ago, along with 3 partners, had a vision to start a company different than any other company at that time, a service-based company, a company that allowed for average people like ourselves to get paid in the biggest industries in the world. And, people ask all the time, why isn't there more ACNs out there? Because what these individuals have done is something so significant that it's never been replicated. Has been such a powerful opportunity that nobody in the world right now has done what this individual and his partners have done. They've created the biggest direct sales company in the service-based industry in the world, not just here in the United States, but on a global level. And with this technology, every single one of us can make money around the world based on the opportunity that we're all involved in here today. So if this is your first time getting a chance to meet one of the co-founders, you're in for a treat. He's excited to be here with all of us. We couldn't wait to have him on today's call. So let me just get myself out of the way and bring to the front of the call. And we know how we give a rock star round of applause, if we could, for our very own co-founder, Mr. Tony Kupas, everybody.
Wow, that's loud. Thank you. By the way, you guys, it's an honor for me to be on this particular call with all of you. This is the #1 team in all of the world in ACN. And I want you to think about something. ACN's been around for 28 years. I still remember we started out of Detroit, Michigan, and the business grew, just like it's going to grow for all of you. It's going to start off in your area or where you're putting your focus and attention, and then you're not going to be able to stop it. Someone's going to know someone in another city. Someone's going to know someone in another state. And eventually your business is going to expand into another country. And imagine your business growing all over the world. But what's interesting, everywhere I go, if I'm in Korea, if I'm in Germany, if I'm in, any other country outside of the United States, and everywhere I go in the US, the only team everybody brings up to me all the time is the Rockstar team, is your team. And the reason why is because people hear about everything you guys are doing. They're always trying to follow what you're doing. Bottom line is because you guys are the #1 team in the world in ACN. So you guys are leading by example. And I believe that, even if some of you, this is your first, let's say, call, that I'm actually you're getting a chance to hear from me. This is just the beginning. I can tell you that the vision of the leaders of this particular team is to dominate globally in ACN. And it starts by just building the way that the simple things, building the basics, doing it the way you're supposed to do, and you're not going to be able to stop this growing all over the world. So I'm excited because this Rockstar team is going to produce more regional vice presidents, more senior vice presidents, more top money earners than any other organization in the world. And you guys are going to be a part of that huge wave inside of ACN. You guys already led by example. You're going to continue to do so. So I want to jump on this call for a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm going to talk to you guys as though, this is a leadership call. And I know some of you are relatively new, but I'm so excited about the things that are going on. Here's why. If you think of, as Pat just said to you, when we started ACN in the early years, our vision was simple. We just loved the idea, of combining the direct selling industry by offering services instead of products like everybody else. But essential services is key, not just a service, but a service that everyone is either already using, have to use, or are going to use. And, the services that businesses and individuals can't live without. And that was our vision. We started off with one service, as you guys know, back in 1993, it was home phone service. And look what it's grown into today. Today we're in, we have this expanding and growing range of services that we're offering consumers and individuals, and we've expanded all over the world. So it's exciting. But what's so exciting, when Pat said what makes us unique, it's not, you think about the services we offer, right? There's a lot of companies offering the same services that we're offering. And most of these companies are massive in size, and they're all competing for the same thing that we are. So that exists because these industries that we are in, if you think about it, individually and collectively, these are by far the largest and fastest growing industries in the world. Everybody wants a part of it. So we've got all kinds of companies going after the same thing that we're going after. And if you think about it, there's all kinds of direct selling companies out there as well. But there's only one company out there today doing what we do. There's only one company that combines direct selling and essential services, and we are that company. And I say this because think about the position that we are in. Today it is way too difficult for someone else to recreate another ACN. You're not going to see it. And it's just too hard to do. So, if you think about it, we're in such a great position because where do you ever find a situation where you have a great concept and you have no competition? Think about that. Now, yes, we have competition with other people offering our services. Yes, we have competition in the direct selling industry, but there's no other direct selling company offering essential services. So that means that if you want to be in direct selling and you want to offer services, we are the only choice, which means, think about it. How hard is it to win a race when you look to the right and you look to the left and nobody is standing there? That's the position that we are in. So if you would have told me, when we launched ACN, I'd be more motivated today than I was then, I would have never believed you. But I feel like the same way, if any of you are new and you're just catching the vision of what we're doing, I feel the same way you do. I can't catch my breath. I'm so excited. We can't talk to enough people. We can't promote this big enough because we have something so special. We have something so powerful, where we are empowering people to compete in these huge industries. So here's the message I want to talk to you guys about. When I first learned this industry in 1993, I shouldn't say when I learned it in 93. I started when I was 24 years old in this industry, around 1990. And I got recruited into a company like everybody else does. I wanted to learn the industry. I fell in love with this industry instantly because this is a concept where, in this country, even though a lot of people would like to be successful financially, if you don't have the right contacts, if you don't, if you weren't born in the right family, if you don't have the perfect education, if you don't have a bunch of money in the bank, it's not easy to become wealthy in this country or any free country. So, I was one of those people that was looking for my road. How was I going to be successful? I had a lot of ambition, but I didn't know how I was going to do it. And so I crossed the path of direct selling. The reason I love this industry so much is because anybody can do it. It's very affordable, and if you have ambition, it's very affordable. You can get started and you can work hard and you can become anything. This definitely is a vehicle to achieve anything you want in your life. And that is why I so passionately love what we do. And so when I first got involved in the industry, I wanted to figure it out, just like everybody else does. Everybody knows there's a lot of money to be made in it, but what separates those who do great, those who do average, and those that never make money in our industry? And I was trying to figure out what are those things? What are the secrets? Or, and I studied the industry for years before we started ACN. And I think I spent 120% of what I was making just on educating myself on this industry. And I finally figured out the formula, and I want to share it with you because, you can't avoid the simple, basic hard work that we're all supposed to do every single day. But it's not just hard work. Working hard is not the secret of success. It's working smart in addition to working hard. You just can't spin your wheels, right? You want to figure out how to be the most effective you possibly can be when you're building a business like this. And that's what I was trying to figure out. And so there's 3 components to success in direct selling. So just kind of think of it of a really high level bird's eye view. The first thing is you have to obviously get involved in the right company, right? If you join the wrong company, I don't care how hard you're going to work, you're basically building your house upon sand. It will crumble. So that company has to be in the right industries at the right time. And I think you guys agree we've accomplished that, right? The second thing is you have to have a compensation plan that makes sense. You have to get paid for the hard work that you do. It has to make sense. It has to work. And I promise you, all of you that have been around for any time at all, any of you that are brand new or relatively new, the more you understand the ACN compensation plan, how it works in the beginning, how it works in the middle, and most importantly, how it works when you become a top RVP and an SVP, you will learn that there is no compensation plan quite like ACN. I call it a work of art because it just, in every aspect of it, it works perfectly. It's all about building long-term residual income. And when you build a big business and you become an SVP, bottom line is, I can't promise any of you that you're going to be an SVP. That's going to be ultimately up to you. But I can promise you that when you do achieve SVP, you will all be beyond happy with the success and the income that you're earning at that point. So we have those 2 components in place. We have the right industries. We have the best compensation plan you're going to see in this industry. But it's the third component that I think is the most important component, and that is understanding how to use the support structure that you have. Because think about it. Every one of us have different backgrounds, different experiences, different time schedules, different availability of time to work with us. So how can we all succeed coming from so many different backgrounds? And that is relying on the system in which you have in place. You guys have the best system you could ever ask for and how you're building the business. And all a system is designed to do is to have you do the simple things you're supposed to do and to be able to roll the people and the momentum that you're creating into other events so those events can work for you. Because think about this. If you don't think big and you don't understand how to use a system, then you're going to be spinning your wheels. So what is a system? A system is events. Everything from your, let's say any group event that you guys put on, whether it's done on Zoom, whether you have a live event that, where you're getting together. For example, I'm going to talk specifically about the Emerge event that's coming up. The reason we put on these events is because I want you to think about this. When you roll people into an event, okay, what that event is going to do for you is what is very difficult to do on your own. And what is that? And that is building vision and building belief in the people that you have built in your business. Now, what do I mean by that? We all know getting someone in ACN on your team is one thing, right? But getting them committed and motivated and excited about what they're doing is another thing. And sometimes it's very difficult to do that from one individual to another individual. And here's how I learned my lesson. I remember when I first got involved in this industry, again, I was 24 years old. At that point, I spent like 5 years in sales. I started very young in sales. I was like 19 when I went into the insurance business. So when I went into sales, one of the good things that came out of it is the guy that I was working for really promoted personal growth. So he basically got me to, I read all the motivational books, the psychology of achievement books, the art of selling and communication, anything and everything there was when it came to personal growth. I fed my mind for 5 years. So by the time I was 24 years old, I had 5 years of feeding my mind all this positive stuff. So when you feed your mind good things, you start understanding how that you can do anything and you believe it. So when I first got in this industry, I was beyond excited. I knew I was going to make it. And I started building a team. And I noticed that the people I was building in my team, they weren't as committed as I was, or my twin brother, because my brother and myself were working together. They weren't taking it as seriously as I was and my brother was. And I'll never forget, what did my brother and myself do different than everybody else? And that is that we went to a company event because that's what we believed in. And I'll never forget when Mike and I went to our first company event. This is before ACN. This is our learning experience. I went to this incredible training, an incredible speaker, and I'll never forget halfway through the meeting, a presentation is good when halfway through the meeting, you just want to leave, go home, go to work and start building. That's all I just wanted to go home, right? I was so pumped up. And so I had this, my brother and myself were so serious about what we're doing, and all the other people were building our team, they just weren't. And I remember I was so frustrated. I was doing imagine you guys doing a Zoom meeting, let's say, okay? And you're trying to talk to your team and talk to some new people. And I'll never forget that I had someone on my team, one of my teammates, right, was making faces in the back at me, trying to be funny while I'm doing a presentation. Now, look, doing presentations are hard enough. The last thing you need is someone on your team trying to make you laugh in the middle of a presentation. And I'll never forget, I went to bed that night. And I was laying there and I'm thinking, I was so frustrated when that happened. I'm thinking, why is Mike and myself so serious? And, all the other people, they don't necessarily show up on time. They're not taking it seriously. They're making faces. And I was so frustrated. I'll never forget laying in bed thinking, one day having a dream of 1,000 people, that's great. How about 100? How about 50? How about 10? And I'll never forget saying to myself, how about one more person to take this as serious as myself and my brother? Not 1,000, one. And I'm laying there and I'm thinking, why? Why are Mike and I taking this so seriously and everybody else wasn't? And I realized only at that moment, it's because of what we've seen and they did not see. And so I called my brother the next day and I said, Mike, now picture this. This time we're in Detroit, Michigan building. I couldn't get my meeting past 20 to 27, 30 people. I couldn't get it past that. And I called Mike up and I said, listen, new strategy. Where's the next big company event that's going on? And it was in Chicago. So I said, new strategy. We're going to get everyone to go to this next company event so they can see what we saw in the way that we saw it. And so we didn't know what we were doing at this time. I didn't know how to promote an event, right? I just told everybody, hey, by the way, there's an event in Chicago. You're going, she's going, he's going, we're all going. We're going to share cars to keep the cost down. We're going to share rooms to keep the cost down, but we're all going to get the big picture. And then people say, well, why? I go, I don't know. We're all going. That's why. I didn't know how to promote an event, right? We ended up we convinced about 27 people to go with us over a 30-day period. We drive to Chicago, and I'll never forget, it was about a 5-hour drive from Detroit. And we're in cars, vans, together. And when we were driving down there, still, it was like a joke, right? People were making jokes. Hey, can't wait to get to Chicago. We're going to have some fun, and nothing seemed serious about my people that were with me. We get to Chicago, we get them all to the event. And for me, it was the second time I seen a really good event. For them, it was the first time. And I'll never forget, the second time you hear the same content, I learned more. I think all of you know that repetition is the mother of learning. You hear something over and over again, you start picking up more and more and more. And I'll never forget the second time I heard the same content, I was learning so much more. I looked at my brother, I go, I am so glad we came here. I was so motivated. Once again, halfway through the event, I just wanted to go home. My knees were shaking. I want to get home. I want to go back to work. Now I knew what I was missing. And Mike's the same way. And I looked behind me, and our team was kind of in the same section. And I looked behind me and I looked at their faces, and they all looked the same way I did. This is unbelievable. Tony, thanks for getting us here. I can't believe it. And their vision went through the roof, because now they understood what we were doing, how big it was. And I realized at that moment that I could have never done for my team what this meeting was doing for my team, if that makes any sense to you. And so when we went home, for me, it was probably the moment where I learned the most, because when we were driving back home, the people that I was with on the way home were not the same people that actually went to Chicago with us. They weren't laughing anymore and joking around. They all had a more serious look on their face. They were sharing their dreams and goals when they would get back to Michigan. And I'll tell you what, I was like, is this really happening? And I'll never forget, we had our next meeting, and the person that was making faces in front of me, he came up to me and he had his guest with him. He said, Mr. Kupas, I would like to introduce you to my guest. And I was like, what did you call me? He says, Mr. Kupas, I would like to introduce you to my guest. And this guy never did anything and took anything seriously. And I literally watched this person transform into a clown, someone that didn't take anything seriously, to someone who immediately took the business seriously. And I sat back and I go, what just happened here? You know, after I took everyone to that meeting, within 60 days, listen to this, within 60 days, I could not get my meeting past 30 people. I got that meeting between 300 and 400 people a night, just by getting those people to that one meeting and having them all take it seriously. And what I learned is simple, is that people perform to the exact degree of how much they believe in what they're doing. And one person talking to another, yeah, ACN's a great concept, let's talk about it, but it's hard to catch the vision of what we're doing. It's hard to catch the belief of what we're doing. And that's what events will do for you. So when we started ACN, we made sure that that was always going to be a part of our culture. We call it an event culture. So that means when you guys are building your business from day to day and week to week, and as you're gaining momentum in your business, you always want to make it a strategy to promote an up and coming event, which obviously the next event for all of us is going to be the Emerge event in Dallas, Texas. But what I want you to do is I want you to think about something. I heard something long ago, and it actually, it didn't make sense to me at first, but then I finally figured it out. One of the mentors I learned from said that most people invite people to recruit them. And he says, you don't want to do that. You want to recruit people to invite. Now it sounds the same, invite to recruit, recruit to invite. What's the difference? The difference is let's say we have this Emerge event going on. I've seen people say, hey, you got to go to the Emerge event. You got to go to the Emerge event. You got to go to the Emerge event, right? And they're always saying you've got to go to the event. Now, of course, we want you to go. Of course, you should want to go, because I promise you, any one of you that are going to be at that Emerge event, you're going to be extremely happy that you went there for all the obvious reasons, right? You're going to get the information. You're going to get, your vision's going to expand. Your belief is going to go deeper, which means you are going to become that more effective in the business. But the only negative thing that will come out of you guys going to an Emerge event is just thinking about going to the event. Because if, let's say you go to the event and you go by yourself, here's the only thing that's going to be very difficult for you to do is to take what you saw, translate it, and share it with somebody else. It's going to be so difficult. You're going to be so frustrated. If you go by yourself, here's the negative thing you're going to experience. You're going to wish you had somebody there on your team to see what you saw. If you had 10 people with you, you're going to wish you had 50 people with you. If you had 50 people with you, you're going to wish you had 100 people with you. So here's what I want to say to all of you. I don't want you to think small. I want you to think big. I don't like to tell people what to do. I like to tell people why they should do it. Here's why you should go to the event, and that's to obviously build yourself. But don't think small, think big. Use the event. The question isn't whether you're going to go or not. The question you should ask yourself is, how many people can I get to go with me? Okay, that's how you should think, and use the event as a tool. That's working smart instead of working hard. Now, why is it smart? Because I want you to imagine this one-day event, Emerge event. Now, you guys got other things going on surrounding this event, some special dinners and things like that, which makes your event even more powerful. But let's set that aside for a minute. Just talk about the event for a minute. I want you to imagine that one day you roll a bunch of people in this event. This will be the easiest day of your month and the most productive. You're going to sit back and relax, and you're going to let all the leaders do what their job is to do, and that is to train, the vision, the recognition, all the things that come out of these events. You relax and you watch your team transform from someone who's just interested in the business to someone who catches the vision, catches the belief, and they go home and they hit the ground running, because now they are where you are when it comes to excitement and belief. Okay. And so that's the message I want to give to you guys. It's real simple, is don't think small, think big. It's not about going to the event. It's about how many people can you get to go to the event. And I remember when I figured that out, I took the invite to recruit and recruit to invite to another level. See, if you invite people and that's all you do, you're inviting them to recruit, right? But as I'm sharing with you, what I'm sharing with you, you should say the same thing to everyone that you bring to an event. You should say, hey, it's not about going, It's how many people can you get with you to go to this event? Because if you just get them to go, then you're inviting them. So you can really help them get more excited about the business. But if you can get them to think like you're thinking, that means someone you recruit tomorrow, get them to think like you're thinking. Hey, if you're serious about the business, I don't want you just to go. How many people can you get as well to go with you on your team and get them to think in those terms? Now that means now you are recruiting them to invite instead of just inviting them to recruit them. Does that make sense? I want you to think big, and I want you to get people to think big. I used to tell people anything and everything I had to help them see and get the big picture of what it took to go to an event. When you understand how powerful events are and you implement them every time, all the time, with every new person that you're recruiting, you will have a business that will grow 10 times bigger, 10 times faster than the people who do not understand or use events. So I'm excited because we've got this great event coming up in Dallas. It's the second weekend of November. To me, this particular event, especially for this team, I'm going to call this the event that's going to take all of you to the next level. You know, as you guys know, we went through COVID. You know, the great news is, as you guys all know, we were able to transition into using Zoom technology. And because of this, all of you, whether you realize it or not, the leaders of tomorrow are going to have businesses that are going to be 10 times bigger than the leaders of the past, simply because now we can use Zoom. You can do more, you can talk to more people, you can build your business anywhere and everywhere around the world. You're no longer limited geographically. And for that reason, you guys, your businesses will be that much bigger. But building into events are very important. We couldn't do that for a little while because of all the shutdowns and all the things that are going on. But now we're able to do it again. And that's why we now put into place these emerge events. And we're doing this for one simple reason, and that's to help you guys build your businesses. And I say the people who put the most people into the emerge events are going to be the people that are going to own the stadiums when we go back into these large arenas again. I want you to imagine one day walking into an arena, there's 20,000 people. And I want you to imagine there's a huge portion of that arena is in your team. And you don't even know 90% of those people. It will happen. It's going to happen. The people that use these emerge events are going to be the ones that own the real estate in all these major arena events that were going on. So I wanted to come and talk to you guys because I'm looking forward to seeing all of you guys in Dallas. I'm looking forward to this particular emerge event. I think it's going to be historic for ACN and this team, but I really want you guys to think big. I know you're going. I would imagine most of you are going to go. Don't just go. It's how many people can you bring with you, but take that same message to your team. If I'm saying it to you, say it to your team. Duplicate that thought process. If you have 2 people on your team, it's okay. Take those 2 people and say, how many people can we get in your team at this event? So we can actually close out the year strong for them. You will understand the power of promoting events when you use them. You'll really understand the power of building this business when you take it to the next level and get your team to recruit people to invite, not just you. But anyway, thank you guys so much for your time. I'm going to turn this call over to Mr. Jeff Street. He's a great leader in ACN. As you guys all know who he is, he's done incredible things. He continues to break records, and I'm so excited to be a part of this call and working with you guys. So Mr. Jeff Street, thank you guys so much for your time.
Mr. Kupas, thank you so much for being on our team call here today. If everybody could, let's give a big rock star round of applause to the co-founder of ACN, Mr. Tony Kupas. Thank you so much for that incredible message and pouring into our team here today. Thank you so much for joining us on the call here today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And guys, we just want to wrap the call up with some important information to make sure that everybody knows all the specifics of what's going on. We're just going to take a couple minutes to wrap this call up. But the first thing I want everybody to understand, this event that you heard Mr. Kupas talk about, as of this morning, was over 80% sold out. Matter of fact, as of this morning, was 86% sold out. So we do not anticipate the tickets will be available much longer, if it even lasts for the end of the day. So we want to make sure that you know how to get a ticket and how to get your team a ticket as well. We also were running an incredible contest where this Friday evening, we're going to be doing the Friday evening of the event, we're going to do a very special top performers recognition dinner for those people that qualify for this event. This will be a 5-star event. This will be a leave your wallet at home type of event. So Friday night of the national convention, we'll be having a top performers dinner where we're going to have any executive team leader that from October 1st to November 12th has 10 IBOs get started as an executive team leader, you will qualify for the dinner. As a regional director, 25 IBOs join your team from October 1st to November 12th. You will be having dinner with some of the top producers globally in the ACN team, in this Rockstar family. This is going to be an incredible event. Here's how to get a ticket for the main event. We're going to show a QR code. This is how to register if you haven't registered yet. For those of you that are brand new, that might not know what the cost is for the event, brace yourself here for a minute. It's $29. So $29, get somebody a ticket to the event. If you take your phone out and just take a picture of this QR code will allow you to register. Now, I'm going to give you a pro tip right now. When you pull up your registration form, it doesn't really make a difference if you register as an IBO or as a guest. But it's an easier process if you just register yourself as a guest. So hit the QR code, register as a guest. You'll need your billing address, your credit card information, and your email. And in less than 2 minutes, you'll be registered. You'll have a ticket. But as Mr. Koopa said, don't stop with yourself. Who can you bring with you? Who else can you register for the event today so you can have other people with you at the event? Now, Saturday evening following the event, we're going to do a special gala. How many of us like having a good time? How many of us have been cooped up for the last year and a half and you're like, all right, I'm ready to put something nice on. I'm ready to bring my dancing shoes out. I am ready to have an incredible evening. So we're going to have a very special plated dinner, gala, recognition event. We're going to have photographers there. We're going to roll out the red carpet. We're going to have music there. This is going to be an awards event as well. It'll be a very, very special dinner. I believe this will be an evening that people will not forget. So this is Saturday evening, 7 p.m. To 10 p.m. This will be an incredibly special night. Again, bring your cameras, and there's a QR code to get a ticket to that event. Now, the ticket to this event will include this event and a very special brunch that we're going to be doing at Senior Vice President Mike Mazur's Lake Home the following day. So the ticket for this event will cover the gala as well as a special catered brunch that we're going to be doing the next day. Now, a ticket for the gala and the brunch combined is $70. So you want to scan that, take out your phone, scan the QR code. If you're ready to go out and just have a very special evening, again, this will be a night that I believe nobody will forget. We want to make sure that you're able to be there. I recommend bringing your spouse as well. This will be a night, again, with memories for a lifetime. So again, make sure you hit that QR code, get yourself a ticket to that gala. That'll be a phenomenal, phenomenal evening. And I just want to go out and close on a few words. Number one, ACN has done the largest bonus that I've ever seen in my 16-year career here for the month of November. Anybody that has a start date before October 31st at 11:59 p.m., they have 30 days from that start date where they can actually go out and get a handful of customers, bring 2 people into their team, and get a $925 bonus for doing that in their first 30 days. This is the simplest and the most lucrative bonus I've ever seen personally in my 16-year career in ACN. So again, if you're taking notes, just jot that down. Anybody you've spoken to, anybody that's on the fence, I would let people know, look, if you're ever going to do this, if you're ever going to do this business, Let's help you get signed up before 11:59 on Sunday so they can take advantage of the extremely generous bonus that Mr. Kupas and his partners put out there to help kickstart the fourth quarter and stimulate growth like I've never seen before in my 16 years in ACN. And Mr. Kupas did an amazing job talking about the value of promoting the events, using the event as a tool to build your business. And I know many of you are coming in from all over the country for the event. And I would recommend getting an Airbnb. So that way, as your teammates register here in the next 24 hours, you can have a place for them to stay. People can stay together. This will be a team building and a team bonding weekend. How many of you want to know everything you could possibly know on all the vendors, all the products and services that we offer? We're going to have Spectrum at the event. We're going to have Zoom Energy. It's going to have a booth at the event. Vivint Smart Home Security is going to have a booth at the event. ID Seal is going to have a booth at the event. Sphere Credit Card Processing is going to have a booth at the event. Flash Mobile is going to have a booth at the event. So bring your notebooks, bring multiple pens, and also spend time at the vendor booths while you're here. But the training is going to be the best of the best. And I want to share one last story with you guys to wrap up the call. And it's a story of myself. See, 16 years ago, when I first got started in ACN, small business owner, owned a bunch of Nextel wireless retail stores. And I remember Patrick promoting an event to me. He was doing exactly what Mr. Coops talked about today, is he knew I could do this, but he needed me to know that I could do it. And you know what they say in the Bible? Without vision, people will perish. And Patrick was like, Jeff, you got to go to this event. Jeff, I know what you got inside of you. I want you to come to this event with me. And the event was in December of 2005. I was a retail store owner. The event was in California. I was living in Philadelphia. My business was falling apart. And I just remember thinking to myself, there's no way I can go to the event. And Patrick was like, why can't you go? I said, well, if I go, I got to close my store down for an entire weekend. And I said, it's the busiest time of the year for me. Christmas, it's a retailer's dream this season. This is going to be 20% of my business for the whole year. I go, I can't go. He goes, listen, when you first got started, what was the reason again? You told me you were getting into ACN. I said, to get out of my cell phone business. He said, well, I can't let that be your excuse of why you're never going to go out and make it happen. So I was like, all right, I'm going. So I went to the event and it was amazing. I went to that event in ACN, but I left that event with ACN inside of me. I had the belief, I had the vision. I drew a line in the sand that weekend and I made a commitment that I was going regional vice president beyond. But I had one regret at the end of that event. And here's what the regret was. I was the only person at the event on my team. I was the only person on my team at that event, but I saw the secret of ACN that weekend was if I could just get people to go to a place where they could see what I saw, I could go out and watch this business explode. So the next time they had one, I didn't make that same mistake. I brought 21 people with me. I got hotel rooms for multiple people on my team. The next month, I had 91 people join my team, and I sold that cell phone business that held me back for so many years, and I never looked back. The next event, I rented a bus and a van and took people from Philadelphia to Detroit for our next national convention. 70 people went, and the next event, I brought 220 people to a convention. A few months later, I became a regional vice president, not because I got great at ACN, but I got passionate of getting people to a place where they could go out and become great. So guys, this event will sell out. This event will be extraordinary. And Mr. Patrick Mazer, Senior Vice President, Circle of Champion member, the mentor of all mentors, is there anything else that you'd like to add to the call before we wrap up this very powerful call here today?
Just fired up, excited for the top producers that get a chance to go to that dinner on Friday night. It's going to be incredibly special. That's 10 IBOs as an ETL. Any one of you can do that between now and the 11th day of November. So with the bonus Jeff talked about, and then also what we're going to do not only at the gala on Saturday, but the brunch at Mike Mazer's. Mike Mazer's house is literally about 8 miles or 9 miles away from the airport. So if you leave on Sunday afternoon, you can hit that event on your way to the airport so that we can have a last opportunity for us to really game plan together and lay some strategies out to take 2022 over in a big way. And so I just want to make sure everybody has the information again. I just want to show you one last time. We also have a Facebook group with the same information, but this is the Emerge. If you've got people on the fence, I would buy a ticket just so that they don't get closed out. So they do have that option. It's $29, obviously extremely affordable. But I love what Jeff said, and that's investing in your business. Mike and I used to get an extra hotel room. We knew that we could get people to go last minute. You know, we invested in our business. We're business-minded people. We realized that if we could get them to the event could do everything Tony talked about, which is, you know, what we couldn't do without the event. So with that, guys, great having everybody on here. Let's go out and have a great close to the month. Let's see everybody in Dallas, Texas. Thank you for joining here today. Jeff, great training. Thank you, Mr. Kupas. And this concludes today's call. God bless everybody.